I did check, and it is Cain that's the bad one. Cain killed Abel. However, I didn't remember the rest of the story. God gives Cain a second chance, having him live on his own, so that he's not killed by other people. That's the story of Cain and Abel. Now, the leader in the digital circus is named Cain. We also see Cain and Abel show up in the first episode. We also hear the Gloink Queen mention, I am Gloinks, you are Gloinks, God will be Gloinks, God will be Gloinks. Now, of course, Gloinks are just this nonsensical thing that shows up in the first episode along with the Gloink Queen. But here's the thing that I noticed that I just thought of after ending the video where I talked about the first episode. What is the void? Now, it's true. We zoom into the void and see it's 99% chance the real world computer where Pomni put on the headset and went in. And I know there's a theory that this isn't. There's, of course, the theory that this is Sword Art Online, where they put on the headset and get transported in this world and get trapped there. However, when we go zoom out, if that is the real world computer, where's Pomni then? Or the human that is Pomni? There is a theory that, and this was actually Matt Pat's theory, I believe, or one of his theories, because this is just episode 1. He had a couple, and he believed, or I heard this theory somewhere, if it wasn't him, that these people are digital representations of humans, which is why they think that they're humans who have been transported in here. Or are they really humans? And honestly, either one could work. Because I think there's a digital God. I think Cain is answering to someone. And I've always thought that every time I've watched this, even the first time. Cain's answering to someone. One of Matt Pat's theories was he answers to like the programmers who program them. But that's a theory he's made for a lot of these theories he has. In my opinion, I think it might actually be answering to a digital, not the real God, but a digital God. Just like the real Cain had to. And whether you believe in God or not, just go with me on this one. So Cain has to. I asked when I was talking about the first episode, I asked, then where is Abel? Abel's dead. If this does follow the biblical story, then Abel is probably dead already. And God has probably given him his own place, given Cain his own place as he did in the Bible, where he was supposed to live alone. But if this is the case, he's clearly not alone. But bear with me because I have two other things to bring up. When someone goes insane in this, when they get corrupted in this, they don't get erased. As the end of the episode shows, when Kaufmo is abstracted, that's the word, abstract, when he gets abstracted, Cain puts him in a pit along with others. Is that purgatory? I think that's purgatory. If this goes the route of religious, if this keeps going, if episode 2 and the future episodes go a religious route, if it doesn't go a religious route, if it doesn't, or if episode 2 doesn't clearly show any more parallels to you're religious, if it's just the Cain and Abel thing, in which case you still have to ask though where Abel is or what happened to Abel. Even if that's the only religious aspect, you still have to ask what happened to Abel. But I think there could be a digital god that Cain has to serve, and that's why there's no exit. Pomni sees a light when she's in the void. Could the void essentially be like being on the edge of death when you see a light and people tell you, don't walk into the light because that's you accepting death? Could the light that she saw actually be death? Going to heaven? Could purgatory? Could that be even hell? Could the void be heaven? Could the place he puts them be hell? Could he be essentially a shepherd, as we would refer to it, the one who's supposed to guide everybody? In which case, is the Amazing Digital Circus their Earth? Now, this would actually work out better. I originally thought these were humans, but this would actually work out better if they weren't. If the humans wanted to create a place where the characters had a guide and a god in hell and heaven, and the place he's putting the abstract people is like essentially a purgatory because they're not dead, or they are. They're not deleted is the point. Even people who die who go to purgatory, um, in religion, we don't believe they're true. Well, we believe they're dead, but we believe they can be risen again. So that's what purgatory is. Like your spirit's still down there. So could that be what's going on with corrupted people? I can accept. I would be more inclined to believe that that's not hell. I would be more inclined to believe that is like a purgatory or a similar purgatory. Because again, I see this all as a digital purgatory. But then what is the void? Is the void heaven? It doesn't quite seem that way. The void is just that, void. And again, I think Pomni sees a light at the end of the first episode. She doesn't go into it. Or rather, she might have gone into it, but at the last second she's pulled back by Cain. Does Cain not want her to go into the light? I think that I understand that there is the whole aspect of Cain of them showing clearly 100% that this is in a digital world. Them showing, and I don't have the answer yet as to whether these are actually humans transferred to a digital world. I can't say for sure. But this actually, my theory, would actually work better along with MatPat's theory that these are actually digital representations of a real life human. That Pomni is actually a digital conscience, similar to her human character, which is why when it zooms out at the end of episode 1, we don't in the real world, Pomni sees this and she sees in the digital world a computer. And again, I actually need to see. Because I said I was going to do this while I search this. I know in the end, when it shows up, the computer shows up in the real world, there is a headset. I didn't realize that the first time, but there was a headset shown in the real world. So here we are. Here's the computer in the fictional world. No, that is there. Damn it. That would have worked out so well if the headset wasn't there, if the headset was there in real life, but it wasn't there in the digital world, but it is. You could still chalk that up to it being an exact replication of the real world desk. Fact is, the real world desk, this can still work. The real world desk when it zooms out, does not have a human in the headset. The headset is there. So it actually would work out if this was a human transferring their digital conscience into a computer and then leave it, and the human being real working around in the real world with a real God, or whether they believe in it or not, whether they believe in a real God or not, the human in the real world created a digital world with a digital God. This is a wild theory with very minimal proof. But all the theories have very minimal proof right now because it's based off of one episode. I think the void is definitely something. I think that's got to be purgatory where they're putting up some sort. Even if it's not the purgatory, it is some sort of purgatory-like space. And I'm sorry, but thinking more about it, you don't just put. I know these places. You don't just put Cain and Abel in there. So even if everything else that is said is wrong, something's going on. And even Matt Pat agrees with this. Something could be, or it's one of his theories. Something is going on with Cain being Cain and Abel. They don't just put that in there for no reason. So yeah, I haven't heard many other people bring up the possible religious, other than Cain and Abel. I haven't heard anyone really bring up the possibility. Is that purgatory? Did Omni see? Did Pomni see a light, essentially, like leading to heaven, and Cain didn't let her go towards it? In which case, is the void like death? Is there a digital God? It's a question I now have. And it's a theory that until I'm proven otherwise, or until I switch the theory, which I obviously could switch the theory when episode 2 comes out, and say, no, I'm wrong. Just the Cain and Abel is a religious reference. In which case, where is Abel? Because Abel, something definitely happened to Abel. Was it killed like in the religious aspect? And I'm not just saying that. That was another thing Matt Pat brought up. And then a lot of people have if not dove into, they've realized what Cain and Abel is. So I don't know if no one else has really gone into the other religious possibilities, though, of a digital God. I might be the first. Or I'm the first I've seen. Maybe I'm not the first, but I'm the first I've seen to go that deep in the possibility of a digital God. This digital world having a digital God that Cain has to answer to, having that be purgatory, the void be, I don't know, and the possibility of a digital heaven and a digital hell. It's an interesting thought, wouldn't you say? Certainly something I'll be keeping an eye on in episode 2 when I do my live reaction. Whenever episode 2 comes out, because there's got to be an episode 2 with how popular this was.